My body
My body
is
healthy.
wonderful.
My body is enough as is. Well, it's still a journey learning to love my body, but from experience of seeing people in illness and seeing how fragile our health can be and how we really need to take care of ourselves, I've started to really view my body in terms of how healthy it is and not by what it should look like or how it's not or is fitting into the beauty standards, but rather whether it's functioning in the way that it should and whether I'm taking care of myself. I identify as an Asian American, and it's interesting because as I identify with two different ethnicities, there's two sets of beauty standards and beauty expectations. And I've struggled a lot, especially with my Asian side, because Asians are, in a lot of the beauty portrayals, portrayed as shorter and very tiny or less curvy. A lot of the things that I've struggled with, one of the most important I think has been my height, because a lot of my Asian friends are a lot shorter than I am. And I've had a lot of situations where people have commented on my height, have been surprised and kind of in awe, and then asked me I actually had a situation where I was at the doctor and he was doubting my ethnicity and was saying, "Oh, wow, you're Asian? But you're so tall, aren't Asians supposed to be short?" And hearing these types of statements throughout my adolescence and growing up has just made me think that there's something wrong with my height, that I should be shorter, and it's all because of these portrayals of what Asians are supposed to look like and how they're not supposed to have curves or they're supposed to just hold themselves a certain way. And I found that to be a big struggle. One of the biggest problems with sexual objectification of women in particular is the fact that when people are sexually objectifying women, a lot of it is unconscious just because of all the social influence in the media, which objectifies women constantly all the time. We're so accustomed to it, and we see so many ads and commercials and pictures of women being objectified, and it's just so normal in our eyes to see women being portrayed like this. And so thus when people say outward sexual objectifying statements to someone, it doesn't come across as a shock or something that's wrong or something that we should fix, just because we're so accustomed to it. And seeing just the most random products being sold through commodifying a woman's body, and therefore making a woman's body a product and a commodity of society. And especially just with the Doritos commercials of covering a naked woman in Doritos, that should be so wrong in our eyes and that should be so absurd, but we're so used to this that it's fine. We think it's funny, we think it's something to laugh at. For me, and experience of being catcalled or men saying really sexually derogative things at me, it's just so, we don't have the instinct to rebel against it or to say something because it's become more of a social norm for us. And I think that's a huge problem, and the media is definitely contributing to that unconscious acceptance of sexual objectification.